What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us. Video number 2. Marlene, what are we doing today?
Q&A.
So, Marlene's got some questions for me, and I hope this provides some insight to people coming out of high school like she is. But I think a lot of these questions are going to be beneficial to everybody. So, let's get started.
Okay, question number 1. What are the different types of insurance and which ones do I need?
Okay, so this is a really good question, and it's really going to vary depending on what you own because you have car insurance, health insurance, dental insurance. There's pet insurance. There's renter's insurance, mortgage protection, life insurance. So there's going to be a lot of different insurances, and I believe they're all good depending on what you own. Some of them may be better than others, but they do provide a sense of cushion so that way you have some peace of mind and you don't have to worry about such a huge bill when you go to like the doctors, the vet, you pass away, things like that.
Question number 2. How to efficiently manage my student loans?
Student loans. So I wouldn't recommend taking out student loans if you're going into a community college. Most of the time, they do provide free tuition if you're within your state. When it goes into getting a student loan, I would really think twice about it. Try to find scholarships, maybe start to save money before going to school. But you do want to make sure that the major that you're going into will weigh out whatever debt you're going to get into. So, just for an example, and this may be a hard pill to swallow, but there are certain majors that coming out of college will not cover the debt. The last thing you want to be is in debt with a high interest or a fixed interest where now you've paid way more over a period of time than you should have. So think twice about it. If it's last resort, by all means do it. I did it. But just know that you will be paying that off for quite some time if you don't find a good career right out of college.
Question number 3. How to navigate the world of taxes and minimize my deduction?
So taxes are inevitable. You don't want to be getting in trouble with the IRS. So make sure you are on top of it. So currently in 2023, going into 2024, if you make less than 12,500 or $600, I believe you don't have to report taxes or pay taxes. But anything over that, you will have to pay. So a lot of us on a day-to-day life work with tax preparers or certified professionals that are accountants, and they will manage your taxes for you. So I would always seek professional help. There are web pages like TurboTax, or the IRS has a free website for those that don't make too much income to be able to do their taxes online, and they kind of walk you through it. When it comes to deductions, and this depends if you're a business owner, if you're claiming dependents, those you do want to seek professional help for. I could give you advice, I could tell you what I do, but it's going to be different for everybody. So just depending on your situation, definitely seek professional advice. And if you need help with that, give me a call, send me a DM. I could set you up with some people that I work with.
Question number 4. What are some smart strategies for negotiating salary or raises?
I like this question a lot. And ironically, I was talking to one of my employees about it today. She had an interview for another job. So I always encourage my employees to find something better. And I saw her already starting to sell herself short. So let's just say the salary range on a posting is $22 to $29 an hour. I always recommend to shoot high. Shoot for the highest number that you can, because the worst thing that can happen is they say no and they meet you lower. So let's just say, for example, I'm interviewing you and I ask you, what do you want to make coming into this role? And you tell me 25 and I'm willing to offer 29, I'm going to meet you at $25 an hour. So, again, when it comes to negotiating salary, feel confident. Feel free to ask for the highest availability. Again, worst comes to worst, they say no, and you still make more than what you were making at your last job. Or if it's your first job, you're making more than other people would make coming into the industry.
Question number 5. What are some effective strategies for saving money on a tight budget?
On a tight budget, well, I'm gonna just recommend to make more money. There's various things to get into. You got side hustles. You got things like Uber Eats. You have donating plasma. Um, I offer referral partnerships, so if it's something that is important to you, you'll find a way to do it. But let's just say you do have a tight budget. The first thing you need to do is track all of your expenses. So these are going to be things like rent, groceries, gas, etc. You want to make sure that your income, so whatever you're getting paid, is able to cover that. You're going to write it down. What I like to do with some of the clients that I work with is on a monthly basis review their bank statements. So I'll see what comes into their bank and what goes out. And you'll come to notice some people just fail to plan. So if you have a good plan, there shouldn't be a reason why you can't make whatever you have coming in work for you.
Question number 6. How do I choose the right investment options for my financial goals?
I really like this question, especially coming from somebody at such a young age. And I believe Warren Buffett says it, the best time to invest was yesterday, second best time is today. To open up a brokerage account, you do need to be 18, but if you're underage, talk to a parent, talk to a guardian to open up a brokerage account for you and just start to put money into it. But when it comes to investment options, there's a lot out there and it all really depends on your goals. So, like, there's retirement goals, there's saving up for a down payment, there's starting a business. So, it's all really going to depend. But if you're starting at a young age, you're giving yourself time for your money to work for you, something called compound interest. So,
Question number 7. What are some key factors to consider when buying a car?
when buying a car, um, well, you're coming out of high school, definitely you want to make sure you have a well paying job. And you want to make sure that you have somebody that's going to be able to co sign for you, because most people aren't going to give you a loan to buy the car. So I highly recommend buying a used car first and foremost, especially at that age. Maybe when you get to 25, you could start to think about buying a new car off the lot. But the reason why I say that is because your monthly payment is going to be very high, because you're going to be a first time buyer and driver for most of this time. So definitely make sure that you can afford the payment and you could afford the car insurance. So, like I said, the state of California does require drivers to have car insurance. And a lot of the times, because you're so young, car insurance companies do make it expensive. So I think the average car payment right now in the United States is $800. Add an additional $150, $200 to make it easy. Car insurance, you're looking at paying $1,000 a month for a new car. So just think about
Question number 8. How do I create a budget?
that. A budget. So that's a good question. There's multiple ways to do it. Simple Google or YouTube search can help you figure this out. So some people like to do it on a piece of paper, maybe a notebook. I personally like to use a Google budget. So they have templates online for free that you could use. There's also apps. One of the apps that I like to use is called the Mint app, and it'll track your spending for you. So there's a lot of ways to budget, and it is important to have a budget. So now you have structure in your life.
Question number 9. How can I save money effectively?
But that's a good question. So first things first is you want to make sure that you have money coming in. And I always tell people, this goes to all ages, you want to pay yourself first. And this is going to look different for people. I know my mentor always talks about saving 20% of what I get. I would recommend for somebody starting off, start small. Maybe $5 a paycheck, $10 a paycheck, $20 a paycheck to now where you're comfortably saving hundreds of dollars. You want to make sure that you do that because the most important bill is you. So take care of yourself first. Everything else, if you have that budget in place, you'll be sure to be able to take care of.
Question number 10. What are some best ways to pay off debt?
Best ways to pay off debt. This is a good question. So there's a few ways. One of my favorite ones is called the snowball method. This is where you have the highest amount that you've taken as a loan. You pay that off first, and now you tackle the next debt. So let's just assume you have three credit cards. One of them is $10,000, $5,000, $1,000. You start with the $10,000 one. You pay the minimum payments on the other two. Once you finish the $10,000 one, you tackle the $5,000 one. So you have now what you were paying for the $10,000 one going into that one, so on and so forth. That's my favorite one. There's multiple ways you could make more money, pick up a second job, pay off your debt, and now you're debt free.
Question 11. How to start investing?
How to start investing. So there's multiple ways to start, and it really depends on what vehicle you want to utilize. And I say vehicle because you're going to hear terms like 401k, Roth IRA, traditional IRA, and those are just vehicles. So there's nobody in there driving them; they're not going to go anywhere. So within those, you have different investments. You want to make sure that you have something that's going to be tailored for you, that's going to earn a high interest rate, and in the long run is going to perform well.
Question 12. What is a good credit score and how can I improve it?
So a good credit score, you'll hear anywhere between 700 to 850. And it's important to have a good credit score because now it allows lenders to see how credible you are. So, for example, you want to buy a house, you got to go to the bank and get a mortgage loan. The higher your credit score is, the lower your interest rate is, and that's going to be good for you because you're going to be paying less of that in the long run as opposed to more. So the three main things to consider to help with your credit is making sure you make on-time payments. The longer you have credit, the better. And then your utilization, so meaning how much of your credit do you use? And you want to make sure you keep that low, I would say under 20%. If you need help with that, feel free to reach out.
Question number 13. Difference between a debit card and a credit card.
Okay, so this is a good question, especially for those that don't know what the difference is. A debit card is usually given when you open up a checking account. This could be done online, at a bank, at a credit union. They'll give you a card that when you go to make a transaction, so purchase something, you just swipe it and they take it out of your account. A credit card is a loan. So again, you could get these online, on the bank, at stores. Be careful with those. But the amount that you have of the loan left over, to keep it simple, let's say I have $100 on my credit card and I spend 20, now I have 80, and I have to pay that back. So the main difference is debit card, your money, credit card, other people's money. You could use both. Just make sure you're smart with them.
Question number 14. What is the best way to plan for retirement?
The best way to plan for retirement. So, again, I'm glad we're talking about this at a young age because the sooner you start, the more money you'll have for retirement. And there's a couple of retirement accounts that you'll be offered or you'll be recommended. The most typical ones are the ones that you get at work: 401k, 403b, 457. When we're starting early and then being consistent in that is going to be beneficial for you. You have your Roth IRA, your traditional IRA that you could open up on your own at any point in time once you become of age. And then one of my favorites is a 7702 plan. With all of those, you definitely want to speak to a professional. With the work one as well, make sure you speak to HR or have a professional look at it for you. That way, you make sure that you are on track to retire. You have enough money. The last thing you want is to run out of money and have to return back to work.
Question number 16. How can I protect myself from financial scams and fraud?
Because this is good. And you want to make sure you're very vigilant. So make sure that you don't fall for random numbers texting you or calling you asking for specific information. They're getting very, very tricky now where they'll use logos from like Netflix, Amazon sending you emails. If something that doesn't make sense, I would always call the company that's sending you this said email or just ignore it altogether. So you'll know that if you do owe money or there's something that requires immediate attention, people will leave a voicemail. They'll continue to blow up your phone. They won't just send you an email to put in your card information or your bank account information, things like that. So just be mindful.
Question number 17. What are some common investment mistakes to avoid?
Some common investment mistakes to avoid. So depending on how you're doing it, so like if you're buying individual stocks, you're going through a brokerage account that offers a 401k, IRA, things like that. I would avoid stopping contributions. I get it, things come up, but you are missing out on an opportunity to make a profit if things are going well within the stock market. So you want to make sure that on a monthly basis you're putting money in, or you could put one lump sums. Just make sure that you are investing. So the biggest mistake that I've seen is people sell their investments because of things going on around the world, or there is a new statement that the US is not doing so well. You want to make sure you stay consistent, weather through it, and that's some of the things that I would recommend to you all. So thank you for watching, y'all. I hope this helps some of you. If you have any more questions, feel free to DM me. I'm more than happy to help. I want to give a special shout out to my cousin Marlene for putting this together. Y'all got this.